To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
3.0's roll call school board members. Boucher and Foss both let us know that they're gone tonight, but we still have a quorum. So let's move on to 4.0 communications and reports. 4.1 is the enrollment update. Superintendent Colness.
All right, I'll start with enrollment, and you can see enrollment is, I wouldn't say it's lower than expected. We did plan for this in the budgeting process, but it's probably the lowest it's been in the last 5 or 6 years. So as of today, we have 1,855 students. We lost one over the weekend, it looks like, as we had 1,856 on Friday. Students enrolled K through 5, and then we also have that super pre-K class of 20 students. So preschool is busting at the seams, though. They're large, but you can see that our class sizes are getting smaller, in the lower grade levels. So right now, we have classes in the 130s, low 40s, and then we also, those 2 bubble classes are coming through. Our 8th grade that went into 9th grade is 163, and our 8th graders will be our biggest class at 169. So we'll just continue to monitor enrollment, and we hope that it remains steady or grows. I don't know, if it's just fewer children are being born, that's part of it, or if they're choosing other options, but that is where we're at. And we had been planning for that in the budgeting process. Any questions on enrollment? Moving on then to the financial update, I'll turn it over to Amanda.
All right, so a couple notes on the budget to actual. So our numbers are pretty consistent year to year for the revenues. We haven't drawn down any of our federal funds yet, but we'll be doing so shortly. Our expenses are up in some areas. The salaries and benefits are up mainly due to preschool, and then some additional things that happened during this. Not preschool, summer school. We spent about $130,000 on summer school activities outside of the preschool realm. So that contributes to the higher salaries and benefits on those lines. The other lines are really just timing differences in the supplies. Last year, we had textbooks and computers that were purchased during the first 2 months of the year, which did not happen this year. And then the purchase service categories is a timing issue when we pay ASEC for some of their services. So those should kind of even out a little bit next month. And then on the next page, the only thing I really noted was the expenditures in the community service fund are down a little bit from last year, but that's just due to the size of the summer program, or the expenditures of the summer school program this year compared to the last year. The other thing I wanted to note on this spreadsheet is that the 2022 column is updated for most of the journal entries that will take place for last year's audit report. In September, they issue a couple more reports that we go in it, make some minor adjustments. But they should be relatively small. And then the transfer to the community service fund is reflected in the numbers that you see there as well. On the treasurer's report for cash, I didn't really make too many notes on here. Our cash position is up, but that reflects some of those timing issues that we talked about on the budget to actual report. And then the cash positions also reflect those transfers that we made that are approving tonight. Any questions?
Yeah, just a couple. I'll just add a couple of things. As far as the summer programming goes, we have designated funds for those that we have not drawn down yet. So that'll all be submitted and we will be able to. So it's really a wash. It's an additional expenditure, but also we have the money designated for that.
Yes, hopefully we'll be able to draw them down next month. I'm just waiting on the state to approve some of the things in the program that we draw them down.
Yeah. And then the other thing would be that the last row with the net revenue expense for fiscal year 22, you can see that things we should come, if all goes well with when they wrap up the audit here, we should come out in the black, especially in our general fund. slightly. So you can see those down at the bottom, be the third column from the left. So
Are those funds for summer school? Are those limited? Is it part of COVID? Is it?
yeah, it's part of COVID.
How many years will we?
We should run it through September 24, I believe, is what we have to use the funds by.
Yes, but the funds that we have after we've spent this, I don't know the exact number, but I think it's around 30,000 left. But they've allocated funds for summer school quite often, so we could see changes in there.
Yeah. Yep. So it was a great program, and we're glad that we're fortunate to have those dollars to work with. So that's all I have. So thank you, Amanda.
All right, let's move on to 4.3, admin and department heads. We'll go to number 1. So
I'll just start off here, the
Yeah.
start of I can start off just with the start of the 22-23 school year. Last week, it was busy, but it was really good. There were a lot of challenges. However, it was great to have the students and staff members back in the buildings. You know, the buildings are pretty boring in the summertime. So it's nice to get that activity. You can just feel the energy and, you know, the excitement when people are back together and in the buildings. I'd like to compliment the staff and especially the people who organized, all the administrators, Soraya, Beth, others. We had a really, really solid week of professional development, and kind of trickled in even the week before that with registration and orientation and Smart Start and all of those busy things that took place before preschool workshop time. That kickoff day for the district on Wednesday, it was nice to have that really after the Smart Start day. I think the elementary staff could catch their breath a little bit, and it was nice. Dr. Mohammed came in and he spoke to the entire group for about an hour and a half on Wednesday morning. And then he met with all of the administrators for about an hour, hour and a half before lunch. And we had a nice lunch that was catered in by Jimmy D's, right? Jimmy D's, and it was very good, by the way, very good. And then in the afternoon, Dr. Mohammed met with all of our MTSS teams. And it was a pretty good sized meeting in here. And it was a really good day. So hats go off to all the staff members and also to everybody who helped plan that. I think the biggest challenges, you know, in the first few days or first 5 days of school that we've seen would be staffing. You know, there are always going to be the glitches with, I mean, we know that bus routes are going to take a little longer the first week or two of school. We know those things, we can plan for those things, but right now it kind of leads into, you know, staffing needs at the bottom here. You know, we're probably a dozen paraprofessionals short in K5 at a fair estimate, Mr. Grassel, and they'll probably update you here in a little bit too. But bus drivers, we thought we were sitting pretty good. And then we, you know, unfortunately, we lost one of our veteran drivers, who passed away. So, you know, that was very tough on the staff. And, you know, Connie did a super job for many years, and she will definitely be missed. And we had 2 new drivers who were ready to go, but one of them backed out on Labor Day. And so we were running short last week, and, you know, Debbie was driving bus, and Nancy and Carla and others helped out in the office, and, you know, we're making it work. But staffing shortages in food service, paraprofessionals, busing or transportation, definitely a challenge. And then classroom teacher wise, you know, if we could find a special education teacher that's licensed, we would probably offer that person a position. So, you know, and I'll let the principals update you on how things are going in their building. They're going to give a short report and talk also about their new staff members. So that sums up my report.
you want to go right, might go into the other on the mentorship robotics, and then we'll go into the principal reports.
Yeah, you know, I can talk about that a little bit here. You know, the mentorship program, Dr. Dunn has agreed to, she's really been working with that the last few years, and she is going to continue to work with that program. So her and Todd Schumacher and Jen Maxter have been people who have worked closely with it. So we're working through that process, and those mentors will be getting assigned, and we'll continue with that program. Our robotics coordinator, that program has really, you know, grown. It's big. And I think when we started, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, but we probably had one person and maybe another helped out because the numbers got so big. But right now last year we had 3 coaches, and they all get paid the same. And it's, we do have one person who has been working with the program since its inception and puts in a lot of time coordinating, fundraising, you know, a lot of those planning things that are above and beyond what the normal coaching duties used to be. So Brian and I are working on a job description, and I just wanted to update you that we would probably be coming to the board asking to create a new position for like either a head robotics coach or a head robotics coach / coordinator. We just feel that the job has grown, you know, it's a lot bigger than it used to be. So when we're working on that, so I just wanted to give you a heads up. And then long-term substitute teachers. It's a great thing, though. We have a lot of teachers that are having babies, which is awesome. And actually, we just had a new baby kindergarten teacher yesterday. Yeah, so it's, but finding long-term substitute teachers is difficult, especially when we don't have many teachers in the pool right now. So back before I came here, it was that you would work for sub pay for 20 days and then go on step one, lane one, once you got past your 20th day. It's been difficult, and we adjusted that a little bit where we'll give credit for education. But I have some information from other districts, and I think we're going to have to probably do a little more to incentive, you know, give an incentive and be able to find people to do that, because it's very important. And so just wanted to, it's nothing's up for action tonight, but you know, we've collected some information there, and we need to make sure we're competitive. So.
Any questions for the superintendent?
We aren't short teachers because of leaves, are we?
Not as of right now, but
Not yet, okay.
well, yeah. So it's a great thing that we have new babies being born, but also it can, you know, staffing, there are challenges, you know. Yeah. So, but we just want to be proactive and get out ahead of it a little bit.
Yeah, get a little warning at least.
Yep.
Anything else for Mike? All right, let's jump right. We're still in 4.3. Let's go to 4.3, number 3. Let's do some principal reports. So Melissa, you want to do your report on summer learning?
You could pull it up on the other TV too, if that's not working.
There it is, I can see it now. Now it's showing.
Oh,
Let me hit that so I make sure.
Unmute yourself. There you go.
Can you make it bigger?
yeah. Oh, the screen shares already.
No, I
It's fun till it's not.
All right. So I shared with you just some of the data from our summer learning program from this past summer. And I just want to start off by saying what a fantastic program it really turned out to be. Very proud of the program. So if Mr. Lohr will be my assistant here. So I just wanted to share with you what our numbers looked like for our attendance. These are on average. With summer learning, there's a lot of fluctuation with just other activities going on, it being summer vacation. So I was very proud of where our numbers were. So that's K through 5 you're seeing on the top, and then 6 through 8 on the bottom. And then our next slide, and I think you might just have to click it a few times, Brian. So these were just goals that our grades worked on with our students. And just as a reminder, the students that attended were students that were not at grade level or were part of our ESY program. So we collaborated with those two programs this year. And so just understanding that this was their specific reading goal, and then we'll go ahead and we'll see their specific math goal and to see where they're at. And so they worked on other things, but these were their specific goals that they worked on throughout the summer learning period of time. So I can just leave that up there for a second. Oh, second grade doesn't look like it got on there. I think you have it on your sheet, don't you?
Mhm.
Okay, yep, yep, okay. All right, we can go to the next slide. And there's our 3rd through 5th. So you can see a lot of gains were made. And these were the goals were picked by the grade level teachers from this past year of areas that they felt students really needed the most work in. Being we had such a limited time, we had 16 days of summer learning, but we also had some enrichment days in there. So that really brought it down to 12 to 13 days. So to be fair to a learning goal, that's why you see that one goal listed there. Again, they worked on other things, but this was their reading goals. Thank you, Brian. Now moving into math. You can look at that data. And it'll be really interesting to, once we really get school going, to have those conversations with our classroom teachers at these grade levels to see if they felt some of these students, you know, that it carried over. And being that we were so close to the beginning of the school year, we were really hoping that that would carry over as well. So that was our K through, oh, we're still, you can hit the next one, Brian, thank you. K through 2nd, and then this is our 3rd through 5th. So again, very proud of the progress that they made. Then we move over to our 6th through 8th grade students, and their goals were more individualized because they used the program MyPath, which we used more as a credit recovery. So areas that they were not successful in throughout this past school year, they were targeted. Each student was targeted based on their Renaissance scores from this past 21-22 school year. Out of our 37 students that attended summer learning or the ESY program, we had 22 that we felt passed. And by passing from this past summer learning program, that just meant that then they wouldn't have probably that additional class moving forward into their 9th grade year, their 8th grade year, 7th grade year. So they would probably still have their 8th grade math, but they might still have to do a quarter or two of 7th grade math if need be. So if you passed, then you didn't have that. Their enrichment days focused on career and life skills, and I can share some of that with you as we proceed here. Is there any questions on the data that I'm presenting? Okay, so then I thought I would share with you some of the great learning that happened outside of the classroom. So this was just an example of our K through 5, and I could show, these were just a few pictures. So this was our trip to University of Minnesota Crookston. You can see the kids are very engaged there. They really enjoyed these opportunities. Thank you, Brian. Okay, this is UND. And they, again, having these resources so close, was awesome to hear when classes would come back, that the awe of the students just being on these campuses, because many of our students hear conversations, UND, and now they can say they were really on that campus. And so that was a big deal for a lot of students. They also, K through 5 went to Turtle River. So got a lot of hands-on activities there, and they were very specified according to grade level. We also went to our East Grand Forks Heritage Village. Again, awesome that we can have that resource right here in our own community to take advantage of. And again, our 6th through 8th, I said we're focusing more on life skills and career skills. So this was really awesome for our 6th through 8th grade students to get to see if this is something that they would like to be involved with someday. I know they also worked on like CPR, just demonstrating what that looks like, if this is an avenue that they would like to go down. Another enrichment day that we didn't have pictures on because everyone was so excited about was actually a trip to our Northland Technical College here in town. And the conversations that were had by students were like, wow, I could go here, I could do this. So I thought that's a huge success for our students 6 through 8. They also went to the Grand Forks Correctional Center and got to tour that and just see if this was another, line of work that maybe they would be curious about someday. And then their last one was also to UND, where they also had their opportunity there as well. And I just wanted to give a huge thank you because the program couldn't have been as successful as it was without all of those groups listed up there. So it really just was a phenomenal program that I'm very proud of, and everyone involved just made it very successful.
Thank you. Any questions? I want to thank both yourself and then all the staff and everyone. I happen to have a little shaver that lives near me that was involved in it.
Yes.
And I would talk to him pretty much he talks to me on a nightly basis.
Yes.
And he loved it. Just
Right.
coming back. And I think it actually probably pushed him now during the
Mhm.
school year to.
And
love coming to
that's
school.
another very successful thing that we can reflect on, is that we had students who maybe didn't enjoy their school year last year or just had trouble walking through that front door. I think it helped with that confidence just to begin our school year. Very, very proud of that very much. Yes.
Great job. Any other questions?
Thank you. No?
All right, let's move into the next report. I think, what do we got? A high school report, Brian?
We're gonna go low on.
Yeah, we're gonna go have all the.
Oh, you got them all
Diane-
now. Okay.
Diane, Chad, Jill, and Brian will go in that order. And
Yep.
Brian will, so we'll
Have at
start
it
off
then.
with,
I'm not even gonna call. You guys just go.
yep. Please, Diane. We want everybody to hear you. And I just asked all the principals just to give an update on the start of the school year, and also some pictures of their new, we usually, sometimes we'll invite in the new teachers, but we have such a large group this year, might have been hard to get them all in the room. So,
Yeah.
all right.
So in pre-K this year, we have a social worker that's new, Sarah Jensen, and Anna Christensen is taking on a lead preschool teacher position while she's attending and taking some classes at Mayville State. So we're excited to have them on board, and they're doing a great job, and we're off to a really good start. As Mike said, our numbers are through the roof. We've never had 0 openings in pre-K before. So it's exciting. It's nice to know that our reputation is a good one and that kids want to come. It does show on the list that Mike gave you that we have 3 openings in our 3-year-old program. However, 2 of those were filled today. So we have one opening in our 3-year-old program, which is awesome. So it's going really well. The kids are adjusting. You know, the hard part for us is that when kids come, the 3-year-olds that come only Monday, Wednesday, that first week of school, they only come Wednesday. So then when they have to, it's a long break between Wednesday and Monday. So we had some criers this morning, and that's the way it goes sometimes. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast that we live in, and we're used to it. And so our staff does a really good job of helping parents adjust to that and doing what we need to make kids comfortable. So we've got some kinks to work out like everyone else does too, but it's going great. It's been a good start.
Thanks, Diane.
Any questions?
Well, there's some pictures of their new staff there, so.
Okay, so new staff at New Heights, obviously. You aren't going to see a picture of Melissa today because I couldn't even get her to stop for 5 minutes to take a picture, but Melissa is our new assistant principal. Katie Clevin is our new school counselor. Trista Shiraga moved from preschool to special ed. Brittany Donarski is a new hire for special education. And then we have Natalie Amundsen, Susie Schaefer, and Emily Kirsten as paras that are new to South Point. And there is Brittany and Katie. South Point is a little bit different of a list. Mr. Kyle DeWitt is the new assistant principal. Jessica Parletto is our new school counselor. Anna Allen is our 3rd grade teacher. Lindsay Hansen, is a 4th grade teacher. Molly Poole is also a 4th grade teacher. And Justina Nelson is in 4th grade. Amy Hoffman is a new 5th grade teacher. Shelby Arnold is a new 5th grade teacher. Nicole Barrett is a new special education teacher. Danny Moffett is our new music teacher. And the one thing about today, I went down to the gym to see what was going on in the gym, and I heard this guitar playing, and he's standing in the hallway with the kids as they're making the transition, and they're just like smooth and not screaming and hollering, so it was pretty cool. Dr. Dunn is now our IXL provider, and Macy Skyberg, Haley Kruger, and Tanya Griderson is our new para as well. So there's a picture of the new teachers and Mr. DeWitt.
And I think a couple were playing guitar last Friday, right?
Yep. Mr. DeWitt also is a guitar player, so they actually sang the school song at the opening of the PBIS and sang that song with our staff. So that was kind of cool. Start of school. So obviously we have Smart Start. We tried to make everything with Kyle and Melissa and myself. We tried to make it look the same at both buildings, how we did things. You know, we always try to change things up a little bit to see if we can make it a little bit better. We had four slots per teacher and 4 different times in the morning and 4 different times in the afternoon. It helped us bring parents in to get them signed up for all of the pieces that we needed to get them to work on, as registration, free and reduced lunch forms, all of those pieces. And we had tables set up and they were able to come in, and it worked pretty slick. First couple of days here now at school has gone pretty well. Obviously, in both buildings, it's a little bit different I forgot how different it is at a K2 building versus the 3-5 building. 3-5, everybody knows where they're going. K2, not so much. You know, first couple of days they walk in and those little kindergartners don't know where they're at. A lot of tears, but it's gotten better and better as we go. One of the big things this year for elementary school is, you know, we're rewriting the Read Well by 3rd grade. And when I say we, that's Soraya is writing the Read Well by 3rd grade plan. I'm just helping organize some of the things that we'll be looking at. You'll hear a lot of us talk about standards and aligning our reading curriculum to the standards. And we've had a reading PLC group that has started. It's a combined group, a K5 group, that has been working together now for about 2 months, along with our Title I teachers. And I really need to thank Mrs. Kellogg, Mrs. Baki, Mrs. Sorensen, Mrs. Jelliff, and Soraya for helping get that organized and getting those people in the right direction. We're hoping that when we're done, we'll have a plan that we can hand to any teacher that comes through our district, kindergarten through 5th grade. They'll know the standards, they'll know when they're supposed to be teaching them and moving our students forward. We focused a lot on assessments and how we're going to be able to use our assessments to help us guide us in our tiers of intervention with our students to move forward. In reading, this year, the focus will be reading. Next year will probably be math so that we can keep moving forward as we're moving along. A couple other thank you goes out to our SEL and PBIS teams in both buildings, worked all summer long and to organize not only things for SEL, but a lot of things for our PBIS, our positive behavior intervention systems with our kids. They've been awesome. So I wanted to make sure I recognize them. My special ed staffs in both buildings have worked really hard and have taken on lots and lots of people. We've got a heavy load in both buildings, along with our paraprofessional staff has been a huge task. And for the most part right now, they're holding their own. We could use one more special ed teacher and we could use about 12 paras. Not gonna lie, in between the two buildings we could. So I'm hoping that we're able to fill some of those here in the next couple of days. We've had some apps and we're hoping that we can get some more. Another thank you goes out to the administrative assistants, Jody and Lacey at New Heights, and Zan and Roberta. They've been awesome helping people get signed up. They're the people that run those kids through, like, where do you go? Where do they go for a bus number? Where do we go? You know, so that they've been very, very helpful. And another huge piece goes out to our teachers. They spend lots and lots of time as elementary teachers in their buildings, in their classrooms, getting things ready, doing those things that they want to have. When kids walk through the door with their parents, they see a nice room, they see it organized so that they feel comfortable and they're able to enjoy the school year. And another thank you goes to Melissa and Kyle, both for helping me get organized and taking on this task. There's no way that I could do it without those two being there to run the day-to-day and allowing me to come back and forth and do the things that I need to do. So any questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Grasso. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Who's up next, Jill?
All right, we'll start with new staff at CMS. So I shared with you some of our kind of a list of our new, and then we had some returning and some role changes that I think are important to mention, because when things are new, there's a new layer of maybe responsibility, new layer of learning, and I think that that's important to call out too and to celebrate. And then we have some new switches within the district. So we have a new school social worker, Kendra Hatcher, taking a nice lead already in the second week of school. She comes to us from the county. Chrissy D is a new staff. Actually, she came from New Heights. She helped us last year as a long-term sub and then stepped into a role as a special education teacher. And now she is, she's originally licensed as a health teacher. So we have her in that space and in that role, and we share her at the senior high as well. We have a list of new paraprofessionals that have stepped in and had an opportunity to learn and have some mentorship from some of our more master paraprofessionals or our veteran paraprofessionals. So Robert Donald, Jessica Rodriguez, Tabitha Thomas, Cindy Marcotte, Handa Gregerson, Micaiah Luck, Ann Savoda, Carly Weber, and Sierra Robles. And excited to have them. Lots of interesting backgrounds where they come in with having experience with personal care, which is a high need that we have at CMS. Some that said, I would love to work with students who have some behavioral challenges, and so we assign appropriately. And we have some that are more
comfortable working in smaller groups of students and supporting them with some learning disabilities. So really thankful for the support that we have there. And I would say that Central Middle School, at least right now, is in nice shape when it comes to providing the support appropriately based on the writings of our IEPs. So our new roles and our returning Wendy Calick is officially our administrative assistant. She is our lead person in our office, and she has taken kind of the bull by the horns, and we are getting some good things done and organized with Wendy taking that leadership. Christy Wolf is coming back to us as a paraprofessional. And then we have really two new programs. There are special ed teachers. Holly Messelt is taking a lead with a level 3 EBD, emotional behavior disorder teacher. And so she is focused on some of our challenging students and providing a solid plan for them curriculum wise through their day. And then Danica Pearson is taking a lead as our DCD teacher. And so want to celebrate the two of them taking those leadership roles on. And then new to CMS, but from our district, Tina Haven is now a tech teacher at CMS and also shared at the senior high. Julie Gregerson is a special education teacher for us at CMS. And then Don Peterson has moved over into our building as an EL teacher as well. So lots of really great people in positions, and we want to support them along the way. So those are some of our teachers, some of our paraprofessionals, and just notice the big smiles that are on their faces going into week 2 of being at a middle school. So that's good. That's a lot to celebrate. Had a good start to the school year. Just need to go back to the days that we had orientation set up. One of the messages that we said is that we want to set our students up for success, and we want to set up our families for success. So when we look back at those orientation days, they were very well attended. At the end of our 6th grade day, which was the first orientation day, we had about 25 Chromebooks that weren't picked up. So if we have about 150, 145 6th graders, that's a really nice percentage on a summer day to come in. And so we said, come in, get your things, let's get the paperwork done, let's meet your teachers, let's get your lockers and everything figured out so that on the first day of school, you can say, I got this. And for a parent to drop off your child to say, we got this, we're good. So I think that was a really important thing for us to start this school year, because when we are calm and we are ready, we can get to being productive faster. And I would say in the building last week, we established routines. We established what the expectations are and kind of all of the spaces so that students know this is how it works. This is what we do. This is how we operate. And so kind of the words that we're using with our students is calm, positive, safe learning environment. And it's for students, and the expectation is equally the same for staff. So that's the message that we're working to send. Want to say thank you to you all for supporting our parking lot to get a little bit of a revamp. That has been, I've heard nothing but positive things, or just nothing at all, which I will assume is going to be a positive thing. Also, our lunch space. Last spring, you supported us purchasing 16 new lunch tables. Come in during lunch. I encourage you to just stop in and kind of see what that looks like, because it is a completely different vibe than last year. We have 12, there's 12 kids that are at a table. They get to choose where they're going to sit. They move around and operate and kind of follow the routines that we're expecting. And it is a nice space to be for kids. I don't know if I could say that last year. And the physical setup does really matter for kids. And the way that we explain how we like things done as adults, and then having them understand and practice it, it all matters, because calm makes a difference. Positive certainly makes a difference. And the result of all of that is safe stuff for kids. And that's what we need at any building, but I will certainly say at a middle school too. So kind of working through some of the regular good stuff, supporting each other, and keeping that positive energy going. Proud of the work that's been done at CMS so far with the staff, but equally with the students. And we have a lot of learning and a lot of work to do this year, but I think we're in a good place to do that. So.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, so we also had a number of new staff members. We had Andrew Glacier is our new counselor, with Stephanie Larson moving into her role as academy coach, and then doing work with Sacred Heart. Andrew, we hired from Valley Middle School. He's happy to come over here because it's not 104 in his office. It's actually regulated as far as temperature. So he's happy about that. Kathy Colness is a special ed teacher. She agreed to come back and be a special ed teacher for us. Zach Risky, we hired in social studies. He is teaching a lot of the freshman classes, civics and things like that. Tina Hoven, like Jill mentioned, is industrial tech. Quite a switch over from 5th grade classroom to industrial tech. But if I'm going to be in a welding contest, I'm having Tina on my side. She is a great welder, among other things that she can do. But so I've been really impressed with what control she has in the classroom with the motor heads and wrench guys that we got. So she's awesome. Beth Lundby was a steal from Grand Forks Twining and community high school in our fax department, a late hire there. And then Hannah Fries is our business teacher. Not her original area of expertise, but she does own a business and has for a number of years as a 20-something-year-old. It's impressive. So she's fired up and is going to do a great job. So I'm excited to see her here. And Jill, of course, mentioned Chrissy D in our health. We hired 5 new paras as well. Celine Noor, Heather McFarland, Betty Benson is one that was at the middle school. She's working one-on-one with one of our students. Tyler Marcotte and Marcia Mack are the paras that we hired. And then if you want to advance at one slide, we got the pictures of those people just so you can put a name to a face. On the picture on the left is Andrew, Kathy, Zach, Tina, Beth, and Hannah. And on the right is Chrissy. She didn't get in the original picture because that was this morning, and Chrissy starts her day at the middle school. So that's where she's at. So we are doing a lot of things as well at the high school, obviously. One of the main things we did, a lot of interruptions last week with computers. We handed out all of our computers to all the grades, and that can be up to, I suppose we handed up probably 450. Not everybody's got them yet, but just some actually use their own as well. We have a lot of PSEO students who start in the end of August. They use their own, bring their own in, whatever. We don't care whether they get a Chromebook from us or use their own MacBook or whatever. But so everybody has the ability to get a Chromebook or some sort of a computer from us if they want it. We also had class meetings just to set the tone as to what the expectations are, and of course clean up all the stuff that everybody else messed up on. No, I'm just kidding. No, so but no, we bring them all into the pack and kind of give out our expectations, and I think the year has gone really well so far with that. I've been able to get into a bunch of different classrooms, albeit for 5 minutes at a time, 8 minutes at a time, whatever, just to see. Probably focusing on the 6 newbies. Not going to go in the counseling office with Andrew, but one note. Even though she's my sister-in-law, I will say that the band was awesome at the Potato Bowl Parade. If you weren't at the Potato Bowl Parade, they managed to get a lot organized in 3 days. I gave her grief and told her she was top 7 bands, even though there's only 7 there. But she did an amazing job with all those kids, getting them organized in, like I said, 3 days. Virtually every one of the other schools had weeks to prepare. Central, Red River, Park River, Crookston's been doing some stuff. They went to the state fair a couple of weeks ago and marched and things like that. So in 3 days, I thought that was pretty darn awesome. So we did have a lot of activities going on. Busing, like Mr. Colna said, is an issue. Just a matter of getting all of our JV and our freshmen and all those kids the opportunities that our varsity has too. We just want to make sure that try to get our kids as many places as we can. So I know it's difficult, but you can't just let anybody drive a bus. I get that, but so there's that. And the last thing we met today about something called ELOs, which is essential learning outcomes, and that's kind of our goal too. Like Chad said, he wants to have a packet or whatever to an incoming first grade teacher. I want to have a packet to give to, here's if there's a new business teacher next year or 10 years down the road or whatever it is, here's the essential learning outcomes that we want you to teach in computer applications or whatever that is. Dr. Muhammad talked about big rocks and small pebbles. Is it a big rock that you need to be focusing a lot on, or is it just a little pebble that you should be focusing a little bit on? Obviously, all the benchmarks and standards are important, but throughout the course, there's got to be some things that you really want them to learn. So that's what we're going to focus on in our PLCs. So there you go. Any questions on that?
Oh, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody, for those reports.
Thank you.
All right, I gotta find out where we were here. I think that gets us through. There's no department head reports, is there, Mike?
Nope, nope. And
Diana already did hers, so let's go to 4.4, committee reports. If you just want to touch on negotiations and policy review real quick.
just negotiations, the board reps will be meeting with a paraprofessional group on Wednesday afternoon. So hopefully we can move forward. Both sides have shared proposals and hopefully we have some real good dialogue and can reach an agreement soon. Policy wise, really, we're kind of winding down here. There are a couple on there tonight that are really statute driven with community ed and also discarding of school property. Those are the two new ones that are on there, but it would be nice to pull the group back together just to kind of finalize things, but they've done a lot of good work and moving forward.
Any questions on any of the reports? All right. Moving on, let's move to 5.0, which is the consent agenda. First, before I take a motion in a second, does anybody want anything pulled off the consent agenda? Nancy, I think there's a typo in fall coaches. If you go into the spreadsheet, it's got Kasowski in there. It was dated like 2011. I don't know if that's, I think it's supposed to say 22. So, but anybody else want anything else pulled? All right, with that being said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda or the consent agenda as presented.
We'll move.
Second.
Questions or discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by stating aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 6.0 is opportunities for citizens to speak on items not on the agenda. I have none. Superintendent Colness.
There were no requests.
All right, let's move on to 7.0. That's to approve the agenda as it's uploaded into board book. So I will entertain a motion.
Move.
A second.
Questions or discussion on the agenda? All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.0 is district business. So 8.1 is second readings of policies, the 600 and 700 series. We brought those forth in the first reading last meeting. So I'm going to make a motion to move to approve the second reading.
A second.
Questions or discussion? All right. All those in favor of approving the second reading of policy 600 through 700 series signify by stating aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.2 is the first reading of policies 800 and 900 series. So I'll move, and then if I can get a second, and then we can have Superintendent Colness describe them.
I'll second.
Mike, you wanna?
Yep, just two
Discussion.
of them that are up on the agenda for tonight, and that is 802, which would be disposition of obsolete equipment and materials, basically following state statute on how we would, if we can't just have somebody buy something from the school without going through a process. So if I wanted to buy my computer, it has to go up for public, public sale. We can't just pick and choose on that. So it's a very short policy, really it's statute driven. And then really it just describes policy 901, basically describes the community education program and the process for, implementing that. So both very short policies that we really didn't have any questions about.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the first reading of policies through 800, 900 series signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.3 is to certify the preliminary 2022 payable 2023 levy certification. So I'm going to move.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion or?
And you're approving the maximum, right? Should be listed in there. That's
Yes,
what-
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yep.
so my motion is going to move to certify the preliminary
Yeah.
levy to the maximum. Questions or discussion or questions for Amanda? Or the
I
superintendent?
did hand you a spreadsheet that just has, you just remember, these numbers are changing daily with the levy system. And we just received the first round probably last Friday. And we received a second run today and they change quite a bit. But you can see we're slightly below where we were last year on the levy, but I could see that changing where it could be even or slightly above based on some changes in the numbers. So, but it's not going to be any kind of significant increase that we anticipate at all. But those numbers will be adjusted, and then in December, you'll have to certify the final levy.
Hearing no more questions or discussion, all those in favor of certifying the levy to its max signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.4 is to approve fund balance transfer. Amanda had spoke on it earlier that we need to move 110,000 from the general fund to community service fund, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? Right, all those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 8.5 is the donations to the school district. If someone would be so kind.
I will. I would like to make a motion to accept donations from Gate City Bank to social work summer programming for this kids' summer activities in the amount of $300. From Northland Custom Woodworking Incorporated to South Point, Stain Hardware Labor and Stain Hardware and Labor for Bookshelves in the amount of $800. And the VFW Post 3817 to Central Middle School for Wolf Ridge in the amount of $300 for a total of $1,400. Thank you, everyone.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the donations to the district signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 9.0 payment of claims and accounts. We gotta pay the bills.
I'll move to approve the payment of the K-12 bills numbers 123,364 through 123,424 and EFTs in the amount of $601,746.08.
I'll second.
Questions or discussion on the bills that were uploaded? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. 10.0 is board member comments. Let's start with Eric.
No, not too much. Sounds like good reports from the building leaders. Good start to the year, and hopefully we can find some more help where needed, special ed, paras. Just let us know if there's anything that you need support from the board.
Lynn?
I will second what Eric said. Just hope that we get the help that we need and lots of moving parts. So thank you to all of you. Hope for a good year.
Lindsay?
Much of the same. I like hearing all the reports from all the schools. It's fun to hear that everybody's excited to be back. And aside from, needing some help in a few different areas, hopefully we'll get some more applicants and get some more assistance there. But otherwise, it sounded like a really good start to the year, and it's a exciting new school year. So it's going to be fun.
All I have is, again, welcome back, everybody. It was really neat to see on the first day of school how every one of the schools had a little bit something different to welcome the kids. I think it was pretty cool. And whichever one of you, I think it was Jill that said, drop your kids off and let them go. I did it. I don't even think I stopped. So thank you for setting that up. One thing I did want to mention, we went through donations and maybe Chad or one of the APs. I know when I took one of my boys to the orientation or Smart Start, I think there was a donation from Deeks that gave them all t-shirts and things like that. So certainly want to recognize Deeks. I don't know if that'll come across the board or not.
That was a last year's fundraiser that we did. We just ran out of time to order t-shirts, but the t-shirts were given to every kid and every new student that comes to South Point this year will have one, and they'll be able to wear that on Fridays. When we have part of the spirit. Kid will have a t-shirt. No matter what.
So certainly thank you to them. And then I know they did a fundraiser a couple weeks ago, and I happened to go, and there was a lot of people there on the pizza night. So thank you to everybody. And just a reminder that lots of kids are starting to do their fundraising for different activities. There's candy bars out there. I think I got an email today that there's gummy bears coming and all sorts of things. So, yeah, gold cards. So please try to support the kids on some of their extra endeavors. With that being said, next board meeting is scheduled for October 10th at 5:30. We'll call a special meeting if we need to. As of right now, I don't. anything,
Yeah,
but
we'll see if anything comes up, but I would reserve that Monday,
Yep.
the 20, just in case. But just a couple of reminders too, that for those that are listening, we're pushing the free and reduced lunch applications. Things have changed this year. and encourage families to take advantage of that program. And also like to thank everybody that attended the football game on Friday night. And also it was really fun to see the 1982 Prep Bowl team be recognized. That was a nice celebration. And our team played probably the best first half they could play. They struggled a little bit in the second half, but it was a real fun game, and it was really fun to see the alums. And I'd like to thank all the organizers. And then the next day, the classes of, I think, 82 and 83 went on a tour of the school. So that was nice. Thanks.
Anything else, board members? All right, with that being said, I am going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Does everyone want to leave? All those in favor signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.